guys, I'm Elaine Vale, the founder of AskAccountant.com. I'm in a business of helping Shopify sellers set up, organize, and streamline their financial systems. Welcome to today's training, how to scale your Shopify business 7 to 8 figures with the LLC and the tax resale certificate, and how to unlock the massive tax savings in 30 days by doing that. So in this training, I'll talk about the biggest US sales tax mistakes that new Shopify sellers make. Are you a new Shopify seller? I bet you're terrified when you hear about sales taxes, and I'm sure the idea of sorting through sales taxes just makes you want to run away and hide. But don't worry, I'll break down the biggest mistakes that new Shopify sellers make with US sales taxes, and I'll try to explain the basics of sales taxes to you in this training. So let's just get started. But before we get started, I want to remind you to grab something to take notes with you because we're going to go through a lot of information today. So let's just jump right into the training. And my goal in the next half an hour is to show you why doing sales taxes properly is the path to the good income and good lifestyle. I want to show you how anyone can learn doing the sales tax properly, whether you have prior experience or not. So now be sure to stick around until the end of the training because I'm going to show you how to get QuickBooks for free. And QuickBooks is the tool you'll be using to do the sales taxes and accounting properly. And that's all you're going to need. You'll never have to buy anything else. So I'm going to show you how to get that for free. So you're going to want to stick around until the end of this training. So who is this training for? I want to make sure everybody is in the right spot and everyone's expectations are being met. So this training is for anyone who wants the freedom of owning their own Shopify store without legal hassles. It's for anyone who sells products online and wants to avoid the biggest sales tax mistakes that Shopify sellers make and avoid the IRS and sales tax audits. And it's for anyone who has the desire to save money on taxes. And finally, it's for anyone who wants to learn how to use QuickBooks in the most efficient way. And I want to preface this training by saying that if there is one golden rule in accounting that you must learn, it's this one. Every single dollar saved is a dollar earned. But if we review this rule more carefully, we realize that a dollar saved is not the same as a dollar earned, and a dollar saved and invested is worth substantially more. The amount of time we expend into earning money is substantially more than we invest in saving it. And that's just very ironic because we submit ourselves to decades of education and training, and we work incredibly long hours at jobs we don't always love and with people we may not like for decades. And a lot of us sacrifice time with friends and family in order to do well at work and separate ourselves from them by moving to new cities or even countries to pursue career and monetary success. So we are spending an enormous amount of time and energy, and we are sacrificing a formidable amount to earn money. But most of us spend very little time at all on saving money, despite its relative value, especially when compared to the effort exerted. But a dollar saved, if you think about it, is worth substantially more than a dollar earned, because a dollar earned is taxed, sometimes very heavily, and a dollar saved is tax-free. So for anyone in a high tax bracket, that means a dollar saved is worth 2 times more than a dollar earned. And that's a substantial difference. But unfortunately, many aspiring entrepreneurs, they learn it the hard way. I have seen countless business people lose everything they have because they get penalized and they get swamped, and they get government penalties, and they are unable to pass the state rules. They are unable to comply with it. They don't know how, and that's how they lose their shirts. But I want to save you years of mindless trouble. I want to cut your sales and income taxes at least by 50%. And most importantly, I don't want you to lose your business that you worked so hard to develop. So now, you might be wondering, who is Elaine Vale that's talking right now? Well, it is a good question because accounting and sales tax is the second career for me. And prior to that, I was a tax attorney in New York. I worked in the office on Wall Street, and this place was beyond disorganized. I was so stressed out working there. In fact, it got so bad that one day my mom told me I was having nightmares and I was screaming out in my sleep, and she's giggling right now. But at the time, I was so stressed out and I didn't know what to do. And as luck would have it, one day I was talking to the gym's bookkeeper who would stop by from time to time. So the light goes off in my head and I start thinking, maybe I should start looking into this and see what this is all about. So I did. I started looking into it. And the deeper I dug, the more I realized that this was a great opportunity for me to help people save money. And it was an opportunity to be a long-term solution for me because I could make great money. I could work wherever I wanted. I could do whatever I wanted. And I could do really valuable work for other small businesses. So guys, that was important. So I thought it over. I talked it over with my family. And one day I just decided I'm gonna go for it. So I became a Shopify accounting expert. And my practice at that time was super small, but I just went for it. And within a relatively short period of time, I grew this practice to 7 figures. And I'm telling you, it absolutely changed our lives because my parents were able to move to a bigger place. And it really changed everything for us. And I tell you this to show that anybody can do it. I did it. You can do it. Anybody can do this, even if you've bounced around between 5 different careers. And as a result of building my 7-figure business and helping other business people build their businesses, I've learned exactly what works and what doesn't. And I've developed a system that gets results fast. And now I own a very busy and very profitable 7-figure accounting business right here in Los Angeles, California. And I love it because I love to save people money on taxes. And I also help other people start and grow their 6-figure bookkeeping businesses. And it's very fulfilling because I love working with people and it really helps when I change their lives. And along with all this political chaos and policy changes, I will tell you right now, the best joy that my team and I are able to see is seeing those entrepreneurs build the businesses of their dreams and legitimize their 6-figure income. Because at the time when I was practicing law, I have seen many economic crashes. My partners and I have been on Wall Street since 2015. We have seen many business owners fail, and those who rose quickly to success and prosperity, those were special. So we have seen skilled individuals who start from zero. We've seen them build their empires the right way and obtain the location and financial freedom. And we have seen hundreds of those situations, And there has never been a better joy for my team and for me personally than to ensure that our clients are growing their businesses properly and that they remain at all times stress-free and compliant with the rigorous requirements of 2022 and 21st century online entrepreneur challenges. And at this point, we are on the QuickBooks Find a Pro Advisor website. And several years ago, we also became partners with the mentorships.com. And since then, we have provided accounting and sales tax services to thousands of Shopify owners. And this is us on LinkedIn as well. At askaccountant.com, our primary focus is to help the Shopify owners, and we want them to avoid costly sales tax mistakes that may cause them unnecessary legal expenses. So guys, if you are Shopify owners and you do not pay your taxes, sales taxes properly, as you can imagine, you might be charged with state penalties, and you would have to deal with a lot of formalities, and my goal is to help you avoid this. And that would be the purpose of the training. And I can only stress that collecting taxes is one of the hardest parts of running an online business. You have to be mindful of that because the requirements of collecting taxes and remitting taxes are relatively new and they keep changing. And there is a lot of confusion going on right now surrounding the entire process. And before diving into the deep end of Shopify sales tax, I want you to understand the basic rules of setting up and reporting your taxes, and also understand how you can get a sales tax permit before you proceed with the sales tax collection. So let me focus on the mistakes that most Shopify sellers make. And mistake number one is obviously panic, because sales tax rules can be complicated. But guys, there is no need to panic, because in most situations, you don't need to worry about collecting sales taxes in other states until you meet the minimum threshold requirements. And a lot of our clients, they're panicking. And the two really great examples of this were Jasmine and Maura. They used to panic a lot, but once they understood the rules and that they don't need to meet the minimum threshold requirements in other states, they became successful and they stopped panicking. And I can explain that a lot of the times you are in a panic because you seek advice from other groups, and those online groups are filled with people who are scared about the sales taxes just like you are. And you also consult with your local accountant, and that's mistake number two, bad advice. And a lot of the times, your local accountant is not familiar with the sales taxes for online sellers, and they can't give you a proper advice. And I also find that a lot of my clients log into Shopify, and sometimes the Shopify tells them that you have met the threshold in the state, but guys, it may not be the case. And you have to keep in mind that people in online groups and even the folks at Shopify, they're not the sales tax experts. So many of them will say that I heard that or I read this somewhere, but you don't want to make business decisions based on what someone may have heard. And this is very critical. So And you have to keep in mind that most accountants are just not trained in sales taxes. And the sales tax compliance for online sellers is a specialty. And few accountants work or even understand the sales taxes for Shopify sellers. And sadly, in most cases, you'll end up making the next 2 mistakes. But also you have to keep in mind that Shopify updates its default tax rates regularly. But if you use those default rates, you should make sure that they're the current and correct rates for your particular circumstances. And you can't just rely, as I said, on accountants who are not trained in sales taxes. So let's talk about mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 is when you register in every state to collect sales taxes. Okay, so you asked around and someone told you that you need to register to collect sales taxes in every state. Wrong. You don't have to register to collect sales taxes unless you have met something which is called Nexus. And I'll explain what Nexus is shortly. And the example would be that under the current sales tax law in California, you would need to have at least $500,000 in sales for the look-back period before reaching economic nexus. And if you don't meet that threshold, there is no need for you to register to collect sales taxes in California. So that's obviously when you do that, you are making a mistake. Mistake number 4 is when you do collect sales taxes properly, but you do it without obtaining the registration. And that's just a very bad mistake as well, because you just can't do that. You need to obtain the registration first. And our client Mark, he did exactly that. He failed to comply with the regulations in Colorado Department of Revenue, and as a result, he received a letter from the state where they imposed severe tax penalties on him. This is his payment coupon that they sent to him. And we had to go to an audit to remove our client's penalties. And we had to argue that the products that our client was selling were not taxable and that he did not reach the minimum threshold requirements in the state. For you guys to do it properly, to handle your sales tax properly, you will have to register your business with the IRS or your local tax authority, and you need to obtain the sales tax, the tax resale certificate. But just keep in mind that the name given to sales tax permits vary from state to state. So it might be referred to as a tax license or as a seller's permit, but the registration process obviously will be more or less the same no matter which state you are in. So a sales tax permit is needed in every state where your business has a presence. Even if you conduct business online but store your inventory in a particular state, you will need a sales tax permit. Okay? And to obtain the tax resale permit, as I said, you must register your business. You must apply for an employer identification number, EIN, through the IRS. And you need to fill out your registration form properly. You need to provide such details as your contact information and your business type. Mistake number 5 is not understanding the sales tax basics for online sellers. And what I mean by that is that the sales tax rules, you have to keep in mind, they are different for every state. And you have to realize that they change on a regular basis. So it is your burden to understand them, and you have to keep mind, you have to focus on your state. And for Shopify sellers, the burden is on the seller to register, collect, and remit sales taxes. So there is no excuse not to do it. And tax remittance is required. It can be required on an annual basis, it could be required on the quarterly basis, or even monthly basis, and it all depends on the state that you are operating out of. So when it comes to sales taxes, you need to consider whether you have physical nexus or economic nexus. And let's just discuss what's nexus. Nexus is the level of connection that you have with a state or jurisdiction. And it's just a really fancy word for saying that once you have nexus in the state, then you need to register, collect, and remit sales taxes in that state. The first type of nexus that you need to consider is whether you have physical nexus. So physical nexus has to do with whether you have a physical presence in a state, whether you have warehouses in a particular state, or even whether you have employees or sales reps. Now, keep in mind that every state has different rules. So you need to make sure that you look up your state and see whether you have physical nexus in that state, as well as other states, based on those physical nexus rules. And economic nexus. And economic nexus refers to when you sell from one state to other states. So you must meet the minimum threshold for each state before you have economic nexus. And the minimum thresholds are based on minimum dollar amounts or number of transactions. And then you also have to consider product taxability. Is the product that you are selling taxable in a state? For example, I have a client who sells clothing, and clothing is not taxable in every state. In order to stay in compliance with your sales taxes, first, you have to determine whether you have nexus, and the sales tax experts recommend that you do a nexus study. And that means that you're going to go and look at all the states in which you have had sales for a particular period of time and look back to see whether you've met the minimum threshold requirements for dollar amount of transactions or the number of transactions. And then you also have to assess the product taxability in the states in which you have nexus. So you ask yourself, is the product that you are selling taxable in a state? And at askaccountant.com, we put together this great chart of the economic nexus thresholds for the sales taxes. So let's look at the state of Arkansas. Their financial threshold is $100,000 in sales, and their transaction threshold is 200 transactions, and their look-back period is the previous or the current calendar year. And for the state of Arizona, the financial threshold is $100,000 in sales, and they don't have a minimum transaction threshold requirement. And if you look at California, again, it's different. Their monetary threshold is $500,000 for a new Shopify seller. So unless you have met the monetary thresholds or transaction thresholds for the states, you don't have to worry on day one from an economic nexus state point, because you must first meet the monetary or transaction thresholds in all of those states. So for example, if you have the sales in the state of California, you have to wait until you have $500,000 in sales for the previous or current calendar year before you would reach the nexus. So if you export your products to other countries, you need to be aware of the sales tax laws in those other countries. And you need to conclude whether you need to charge the sales tax in that country and also whether your product is taxable. There are two types of sales tax that you have to be mindful off. You will have to calculate your taxes on either a destination basis or an origin basis. And but the good thing, you don't need a degree or a license to succeed as an online store owner, and you don't need any knowledge, specific knowledge or specialty to comply with the sales tax regulations in your state. You just have to learn those rules. So as I mentioned before, the first key of any successful Shopify business is to get familiar with the sales tax regulations in your particular state so that you can avoid the unnecessary penalties. And you can't proceed with the sales tax unless you register your company. So obviously the second key to become successful is to register your company as LLC or corporation so you can later move on to the sales tax. And after you register your company, the third thing you do is obtain the tax resale certificate. But as I said, to do all of those things, you don't need expensive software, you don't need a fancy computer. All you need to do is just get familiar with the rules and calculate your sales tax. But I can understand, but for some of you, this process could take years, because it did take me some time, I would say years, just to figure out all that stuff out for myself. So how would you like it if I took your hand and walked you through the entire process by teaching you sales tax principles and then helping complete your LLC registration and obtain the tax resale certificate for you and providing you with your first sales tax service? So you basically have three options here. You can learn it the hard way by listening to YouTube videos for several years. And you can go to expensive accountants and waste your fortune on them. And you also have a third option. You can join our tax business program, and you can cut your bills in half, and you can live stress-free and never worry about missing the legalities that will come back and haunt you. So our program at askaccountant.com has three main components. And the first component is the comprehensive online video training course that covers everything that you need to know, all the basics of the sales taxes. And the second component of our accounting sales tax business program would be access to our Slack channel, where you'll be able to freely communicate with our team members. And the third component of the Ask Accountant Sales Tax Business Program would include done-for-you services, and those services would include the LLC registration for your company, the tax resale certificate, and even the sales tax service itself. And we will do it on the annual, monthly, or quarterly basis, depending on the state that you are in. And there's also a private group on Facebook where you can ask questions and get advice from me and everybody else in the program. So we had many student successes, and Melissa Stewart joined our accounting program recently, I believe in April, and she made a really quick breakthrough. She copied our tools and she saved over $6,200 in sales taxes. And this is her case, and she tells us that she is very happy excuse me, with our program and with the sales tax service. And she feels really, and she's very happy. And we also have Cindy Monat. She purchased our sales tax service sometime last year, and she was able to slash her $35,000 in income taxes as well, in addition to the savings in sales tax. And obviously she's very happy. and we are happy for her as well. So this is Cindy. And we also had D. Smith. He purchased our sales tax service in January, and that's her. And she also saved $6,200 in sales tax penalties. So that was amazing as well for her. And Ahmad consulting business went really well. He saved $42,000. He slashed $42,000 in tax liability to zero when he established his own LLC. And another client of ours who was very happy, he saved $102,000 in taxes. So we were happy for him as well. And finally, Elaine, she's one of our best students, and she reduced her tax liability from $44,000 to $9,541 after she established her LLC, because she was able to take advantage of many write-offs that were available to business owners. And this is Elaine's case. So what do you get in this program? So as I mentioned before, you get the all of our sales tax business courses, and they're valued at $3,000. You get access to Ask Accountant Slack channel, that's valued $2,000. You get access to Ask Accountant's Facebook private coaching community, that's valued at $2,000. And most importantly, you get all of those done for you services, like the rush filing service for LLC registration, the EIN number. You also get the operating agreement. You get the assistance with the bank account. We also obtain the tax resale certificate for you. We provide you with a trademark registration consultation, and we provide you with the unlimited email support and lifetime access to everything, including our AskAccountant.com mentorship that's worth $2,000, and we give you our Ask Accountant tax savings bundle. So on the top of all of that, we give you the bonuses, the checklists and templates. They are worth $500, and the total combined value is $13,500. So just for today, we are reducing this to $347. That's almost like a 95% saving. And I'm sure, guys, you will be very thrilled. You'll be very happy if you join our program. And I need to stress that the Ask Accountant Tax Savings Bundle, this is a special bundle. It gives you every single resource you need to learn to save money on taxes. And once you go through that bundle, you'll be able to save so much in taxes, and you'll be happy. And especially if you made some income for this year, you'll be very happy if you purchase that bundle ahead of time. So money is just a tool for exchange, and you're going to be asking for money from your clients, like I'm asking you to invest in yourself today. And most of you have heard of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, because rich people buy things that make them richer. They buy assets, they invest in education, they invest in stocks and bonds, they buy real estate. And poor people, they spend their money on things like the lottery or eating out all the time, things that don't give them a return. And all I'm asking you to do today is take some of that disposable income that you're going to spend anyway on things that aren't going to make you any richer, and instead make an investment in yourself. A lot of the clients ask, how long do the bonus courses last? Like the tax savings bundle, how long is that? And the answer to that is that the courses in the tax savings bundle are self-paced, so basically you can study them at your own leisure. And the other common typical question is, how long will it take for me to learn the basics of the sales taxes? So I usually say if you are able to spend about 5 to 10 hours on the program, you can start saving at least $25,000 in income tax and about $4,000 to $5,000 in sales taxes, and you can also avoid unnecessary penalties imposed by IRS. So in Ask Accountant Sales Tax Accounting Business Coaching Program, we show you both. We show you the most effective tax reduction strategies, and we show you exactly what to do. So if you're not good with the numbers, it doesn't matter. And that's a common question. A lot of people ask, do I need to be good at math? No. The QuickBooks software does pretty much everything for you. So you don't need to be good at math. And the other question that I always get is this right for me? Well, the bottom line is, if you are finally ready to create a wildly profitable Shopify business, then yes, this is perfect for you. And together we'll dial into your business, your exact sales, and get the absolute clarity on how to obtain the massive tax savings as fast as possible using Ask Accountant's Tax Savings Bundle. And you'll get an exact strategy from us, and you'll make it happen. So, guys, I will, at the end of this video, you'll get a link, and it's askaccountant.com, sales income tax. And once you click on that link, you'll be able to join our program. And as I said, we have a special rate today, and it's only $349. So thanks for watching. I'm going to show you how to get QuickBooks for free. And QuickBooks is the tool you'll be using the sales taxes and accounting properly. So email me and I'll send it to you. I'm happy to make sure to answer all of your comments. And if there are any other topics you'd like me to cover in the future, just email us, and I'm here to help you. I'll see you next time.